Hello, my name is Kat.
My name's Kavina.
And my name is Mackenzie.
We are the Couch Potato Lab, the show where we bring science to your home. Let's meet the scientists here with me today. To my left, who do we have?
Hey, my name is Kavina. My pronouns are she, her, and a fun fact about me is I tried to do parkour this morning, and I ended up getting a little wound, and I am now using 6 Band-Aids to heal this wound.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was
Quite the tumble.
It's quite the tumble.
I wish I could have saw it live.
Yes, same here. But I'm glad you made it to the show okay, Kavina. My name is Kat. My pronouns are she, her. And a fun fact about me is I threw 4 touchdowns in my flag football game the other day.
Whoa, nice.
That's right. Go Tigres. All right, and the scientist to my right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie. My pronouns are she, her. And a fun fact about me is that outside of the show, right now we're doing some improv, we're teaching science, kind of acting, so I've got to have this, professional face on. But usually I look like this. So have you ever seen me walking around? Like on the street, maybe at the grocery store. Right now I'll probably have a mask on, but if you see me without my mask, I'll be like...
Wow.
That's why I never recognize you in stores.
That's why. You think that you never see me, but it's actually just because I use my normal face.
Mackenzie, you're getting so popular because you're at the Couch Potato Lab. It's kind of good that you have like a disguise now because you have a lot of fans. Sometimes you just need to be in disguise.
True. The paparazzi is just constantly at me, trying to take pictures, ask for interviews. Oh, it's overwhelming, but I love it. I love it so much. We are coming to you live from Treaty Fort Land, and that is home of the Nehewak, Nakaway, Nakota, Lakota, Dakota peoples, as well as the homeland of the Métis Michif Nation. And we just want to take an opportunity to invite you to recognize where you are today as well, because we recognize that our audience is very diverse and comes from many different areas. So we invite you to acknowledge that and recognize where you're going to be learning with us today.
Okay. Kids, I have the most exciting news. So next week, we have an award show happening, and we're going to play all the bloopers and the highlight reels from the Couch Potato Lab, and you two can be there as well. Are you, so psyched?
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I don't know if you remember, but last time for the award show, I was sick.
I know.
So I couldn't be here.
I know. So you better make it this time, Kat. You can't be sick again.
Well, and see, that's why I'm so happy that I have you two brilliant scientists with me, because I need to know how to stay healthy this year so that doesn't happen again.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kavina, I'm pretty sure last time when I was sick, I went to the doctor, and I think the doctor said I had a virus or some kind of bacterial infection. I can't remember, but are those things the same?
No, Kat. That's probably the first thing you need to know is there's lots of different types of infections. They can be from bacteria, viruses, fungi, or other parasites. And all of these things, we call them foreign invaders because they're things that are found in the outdoors, in the environment, and they can invade our body and make us sick. So there's a difference between a bacteria and a virus. And Kat, I think that's the first thing you should know. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So listen up. Okay, maybe you want to take some notes.
Okay.
So we have a bacteria here. This isn't a real one. They're usually a lot smaller. But here's a monobacteria. And so this is a bacteria. They have cilia, which are these little hairs on the outside. They have flagella, so they can swim. And then inside of them, they have something called DNA. So this is some DNA. Okay, it's all, stringy, you could say. Now, a virus does not have any of this body. It only has the DNA or the RNA sometimes. We can talk about that in a later episode, but they only have the DNA. So the cool thing about a bacteria is it has a body and it has a DNA. So what it can do is it can replicate or duplicate, make copies of itself simply by doing this. I don't want to ruin this pretty model, so we're going to just take this fake bacteria here. So say this is a bacteria. If it wants to make copies of itself, all it has to do is break apart. And that's called binary fission. And now you have 2 bacteria. It's that simple. And then these 2 bacteria can break apart again. And then we break it apart. And now you can see we have 4 bacteria. So it's that easy for bacteria to make copies of itself. Now viruses, remember I said the virus only has the DNA? Viruses, in order to make copies of itself, it actually has to go inside of our human cells and then make copies of those human cells. So that's a big difference between the bacteria and the viruses. The viruses need to infect our human cells in order to replicate.
Yeah, so like they need a host, so a living thing to live on them, because humans have can get sick by viruses, but so can other things like dogs and animals and things like that, right, Kavina?
Yep, exactly.
So, Kavina, is there any way that we can protect ourselves from getting bacteria or viruses or spreading it to other people?
Yeah, let's start simple, Kat. So there's one very simple decision that you can make when you go out in public and you don't want to contract a foreign invader. And that simple thing is a mask. So you can put this on, and then it's going to block the viruses from going out and infecting others, and it also blocks the viruses from going into your mouth and then infecting you. Okay? Now, how this works is when we breathe, all those viruses or bacteria in our bodies, they come out of our mouth in little water droplets. So the mask blocks the water droplets, and then it blocks the viruses or the bacteria that's inside of those water droplets. Do you want to see how it works?
Yes.
Yeah?
Of course.
Okay. So I have some fake water droplets, some fake virus water in here, and I'm going to show you what happens when you wear a mask and then you breathe out, okay? So Kat, I'll bring the whiteboard over here. Blackboard, I guess you could call. This is my beautiful canvas.
Do you want to, before you spray it, do you want to just spray it on something to make sure that the stream is good? I want to make sure that you have it on the mist stream,
For
not
sure.
on the straight stream.
We'll give it a little test.
Perfect.
Good? Cool.
Awesome.
Here we go. Kat, I need you to say, achoo!
All
and
right.
then I will spray onto our canvas.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Achoo!
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing at all. Let's try one more time.
Okay.
Let's prove it's not a fluke, okay?
Okay, we need replicants.
So we got our mask on, we're walking through the dollar store, and then, oh no,
Achoo!
Oh,
nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. And look, all of those water droplets are captured in the mask, so no virus gets through. Oh, I'm getting virus on my hands right now. That's okay, maybe we'll wash them later. Okay, so now, say you weren't wearing a mask and you're walking through the grocery store trying to get some ice cream, and then,
Achoo! Oh.
and then you always sneeze the second time, sneeze again.
Yeah. Achoo! Sometimes even 3 times I sneeze.
Okay,
Ready?
ready?
Achoo! Oh.
No! Look at all that virus that just went into the air and onto someone else's face. That's how easy viruses can be spread through our own breath.
Yikes. Now, what is really interesting about these masks is it's important for not only you to wear a mask, but also the other people around you, because it's great that you're stopping and protecting other people by wearing your mask because it's getting captured in the inside. But if someone else, if Kat's by me and she's not wearing a mask and she sneezes, and she's going to get it on me in other places, like maybe on my clothes or my arms or on my hands. So we want to make sure we're all wearing masks so that we can keep everybody protected.
This reminds me of a story, actually, Mackenzie. There was a hairdresser that wore a mask to be safe, and this hairdresser actually had a virus in them, and they didn't know. So they kept cutting people's hair, and they actually gave 140 people a haircut. But because the hairdresser was wearing a mask and all of their clients were wearing a mask, nobody got the virus. The virus was not spread at all.
Because they didn't have the host, right? They just got caught in that mask and they didn't ever get put onto, they didn't get blown out onto the host.
Nope, got trapped in those masks.
Oh, that is really good to know. That makes me feel a lot better. And Kat, that might be a good tip to make sure you're healthy for this award show.
Yes, I'm definitely going to wear a mask now when I go out.
Yes, that's really good.
Now, so that was a great example of a physical way that we can protect ourselves. But Mackenzie, is there any other ways that my body protects itself from getting sick?
Yes, actually there is, Kat. So of course there's things that we can do, like wear a mask, but there's actually things in our body that help us stay healthy as well. And that is our thing called our immune system. Now, to be immune means to be protected. So then it makes sense that the body system that helps keep us protected from viruses and bacteria is called the immune system, because it's protecting us. And this immune system has 3 different kind of things that it does to help us. And we call those the 3 lines of defense. Now, each of them has a little bit of a different role, but they're all very important. So our first line of defense is kind of like physical barriers, so things that kind of try to keep those foreign invaders from even entering us. Then our second line of defense is our unknown cells. They do different things, and we're going to get into those a little bit later. And then the third line of defense is our known cells, and we're going to talk about those a little bit later as well, and they have very specific jobs. Now, all of these things work together, and I was saying how there's 3 lines of defense, and I like to think of these 3 lines of defense kind of like levels in a game. And our body is trying to make sure that those foreign invaders, or those are going to be like our players, we don't ever want them to get past level 1. We want to make sure they die before they even get to level 2. So we want to keep them out of our bodies. So we're going to try to think about trying to keep those viruses from getting past level 1. But of course, sometimes people or players, viruses get to level 2. So then we have different things that we can do and have in place to make sure that they don't get to level 3. If that happens, we have things in level 3 that help us as well. So those are our 3 lines of defense, and we're going to get into those a little bit more today so we know everything we can know to keep us healthy.
Great. Thank you, Mackenzie. You know, I love football, and football is very similar to our 3 lines of defense. So I'm going to draw up a little play here to kind of show the different lines of defense that we have. So say on the bottom, this is our offense. So here we have our offensive line. Maybe we have some receivers.
Those are football players?
Yeah, these are all our football players. And then we have the quarterback, and maybe we have our running back here. Well, then on defense, we have a defensive line that matches up with the offensive line. Then we have some cornerbacks. And then way back, we have our safeties. So say the play starts and the quarterback gives our running back the football. And say the running back is going, but we have our defensive line here that stops the running back from getting through. So here our running back is kind of like a foreign invader. And the foreign invader has reached this first line of defense, being our skin, a physical barrier. This was our first line of defense, the skin.
Yeah, so you mentioned that one of those things that helps us in that first line of the defense is skin, and that is exactly right. Our skin has a huge role in that physical barrier to make sure that these foreign invaders don't get into our bodies. And that is because when these foreign invaders get onto our skin, it stops there. We try not to let them in, of course, unless you have like a cut or something like that, which is why we're going to add something like a Band-Aid or something like that to make sure there's not an open wound through that physical barrier. So just to get a little bit deeper into this, we are going to talk a little bit more about skin and talk about the different roles, because there's many different layers to skin. So let's talk about just skin in general. So skin is the largest organ in our body because, of course, it's stretching all over us. Now, there's 3 main layers to our skin, and it acts as our physical barrier. But we're going to start kind of at the bottom and then work our way up, because we're going to be building all the different layers. So you can follow along with us here with your lab manual, and we're going to learn together exactly what all of these different layers do in our skin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with a plate, or maybe you have a baking sheet or something, just to make sure that we have somewhere to place our first layer of skin. So our first layer of skin is called our hypodermis. And this is a layer at the bottom. It's pretty small. And this layer, we're going to use our mini marshmallows. So I'm going to go ahead and put mini marshmallows all over the bottom of my plate. Now, the reason we're using marshmallows is because you'll notice that if you push down these marshmallows, they're kind of squishy and they're kind of fluffy. And that has a lot to do exactly with what our hypodermis is doing, because it's at the very bottom, and it's really, really important for protection and insulation. So it's allowing us to kind of keep ourselves nice and giving us like a kind of like a pillow or a cushion when we fall. So if you imagine yourself, you're running across the playground and you fall and you hit your knee, this hypodermis helps so that it doesn't hurt as bad. So we kind of have a cushion. It's like a layer of protection. Now, on top of that hypodermis, we have our dermis. And this is a really thick layer. And here we have a graphic on the board so you can kind of visualize what we're doing here. So we have that hypodermis at the bottom. You can see it's that kind of tan color. And That's our marshmallow. So now we're going to go ahead and add the dermis. And you could see that that was the really thick layer. So I'm going to use Jell-O. It doesn't matter if you use Jell-O cups or anything that's like Jell-O. You can even make it yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and plop it kind of right on top of those marshmallows. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to break it up just a little bit so that I can cover my entire plate. All right.
It's looking good, Kens.
Yeah. Now, the reason we're using Jell-O here is because we want something that's really elastic and kind of allows us to move. So if you imagine how little you were as maybe a baby or a kid, and then as you grow up, your skin kind of stretches and it's really elastic. Or, my hands are very dirty right now. Can you do this for me, Kat?
Yeah.
Yeah, try to pull your cheeks. What's going to happen? Oh, they stretch right out.
They go right back.
Yes.
Stretch them and then bong.
Oh.
And that's thanks to our dermis because it is very elastic. And this also gives our skin a lot of strength. And that's just really important so that we don't cut ourselves and stuff like that as well. Now within this dermis, we also have a network of a lot of different cells and receptors, things like that. And these cells and receptors are good for different, like sensing things like touch. So if you're touching something, you can tell, or when you're touching something, you can tell if it's hot or cold. And it also allows you to feel pain. So again, if we imagine ourselves scraping our knee on the playground, that bottom layer gives us the cushion, and then this middle layer, the dermis, gives us that sense that it's painful. So that's all thanks to those receptors in there.
Yep, my dermis was definitely telling me that my parkour fail today was painful.
Yes, I can imagine. All right, so now we have our first two layers, and then we have our top layer of our skin, and that's our epidermis. And to represent this today in our little skin model, I'm going to use a fruit roll-up. And this is kind of like our layer on top to keep everything in there contained. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it right on top. So it's that top layer. It keeps us all in there. I've got a second one here.
I didn't know there were so many layers to skin.
That's right, because we can only see the very top layer, that epidermis, but there is, of course, those two layers underneath. Now, this top layer is the part that flakes off, and one really cool fact about skin is that the average human flakes off approximately 2 pounds of skin every single year. If you think about how much a little teeny flake would weigh, like barely anything, that's a lot of flakes of skin in 1 year. Like 2 pounds worth, that would be a lot.
Gosh.
Yes,
That's insane.
I guess that's why they say we should wash our pillowcase, because apparently there is a lot of different skin flakes and stuff that fall off there. All right, so this is our skin. We have the 3 layers, our hypodermis, dermis, and epidermis. But that's not all we have. I'm sure if you can look at your skin, a lot of us will have little body hair on top of us. And this body hair is actually really important too. It has a protective layer, and it tries to keep things out and keep us nice and safe there. So what we're going to do is we have little licorices here, and we're just going to pull off little pieces and stick them on top. You could put little holes in your fruit roll-up if you can. Try to stick it through. And those will be our little hairs.
And I
that's
wish
good.
I had licorice for hair.
Me too. That would be a tasty treat whenever I'm...
Yeah. And it would just keep growing, and you could just keep eating it, and it would just grow, and you could eat more.
It's true. So yeah, you can go ahead and add as many hairs as you want. Yeah, just however
Depends
many
if you're
you want.
hairy or not. If you're not that hairy, you don't have to put that many hairs.
Yeah.
It's true. So our skin is very, very important to keep us out because, to keep things out, because you can notice that if something gets put on top of here, it's going to try to keep it out and not allow it to get through all of these different layers to the bottom of the plate. So if you, for example, if I drop a marshmallow on top, it's going to stop it from going through. So it's that physical barrier.
Yeah,
it's really,
so
really important.
things like bacteria and viruses, they're too big to seep through your skin. You either need to cut yourself and then it gets in through your blood, or you inhale it. But bacteria can actually get right into your skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And our skin is semi-permeable. So that means that it does let some things get in, but it does do a really good job at keeping things out. For example, these foreign invaders, it does a good job at stopping them right on our skin, but then the issue with that is that we are constantly touching things with our hands all the time. Now, Kavina, Mackenzie, what is something that you think we could do to help stop the spread of foreign invaders if they're on our hands?
That's easy. You just wash your hands, right?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
All right, now it is time for our science showdown.
This is a science showdown?
That's right. So, Kavina, Mackenzie, for today's science showdown, we will be testing how well you wash your hands.
Well, okay.
Whoa.
Easy.
All right.
Easy?
Okay, well,
I do it every day.
Yeah.
I do it like 20 times a day.
20 times. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Easy.
All right.
So we just wash our hands?
yeah, I just want you to wash your hands.
All right, I'm gonna get my bucket out. Luckily, I have a bunch of soap here as well.
I don't got soap, but I think I'll be fine without soap. You don't. I think it's overrated.
I'm not giving her any of my tips right now because this is a science showdown.
Yes, that is right. So, Kavina has made the decision to wash her hands without soap, and we will see how that goes for her. But Mackenzie does have soap.
That is right. I got this big soap here. I'm gonna add a bunch. And you know what? I'm gonna put some right on my hand. All right. I'm ready.
All right, let's get washing.
All right. 30 seconds.
Ooh, it's cold. I don't want to keep washing. That's fine. That's good. We're good.
All right.
That's too cold.
I'm sorry, Kat. I need the full 30 seconds for a thorough hand wash.
Are you kidding me? There's nothing on your hands. You can't even see anything.
I don't know.
I mean, they do look.
Squeaky clean.
They do look pretty clean, Kavina.
Look. Yeah.
They look pretty clean.
Um,
Now, Mackenzie, how's
Hurry
it going
up.
over there?
Come on.
Good.
You're
I'm
taking too
washing
long.
my hands. I don't really mind because my water's nice and warm. Feels just like bath water. I wish
Ken,
I
we
could
don't
jump
have all
right
day.
in.
Come on.
All right. Now I just gotta dry them off.
Dry. Just use your shorts. It's fine.
Ah! Silly. You can't do that. Oh,
You're wasting
I'm
time
almost
here.
done.
Life's too short. You don't need to wash your hands for that long.
But, Kamina, I don't want to get sick. Okay. All done.
All right, you're both are done?
Yeah.
How are you determining the winner? I'm very
Well,
confused.
I am sneaky, and I put glow germs on your hands.
Glow germ?
What? What's
Sorry,
that?
what?
It's just this really cool substance that when you put it under a black light, it glows blue. So now you had it all over your hand. So when I shine this black light, I can see how much glow germ is left. So the more glow germ that's left on your hands, the worse you were at washing your hands.
Okay, I just got a little nervous now.
Oh, I think I got you beat.
All right,
I
who
guess
wants-
my time now doesn't seem like it was so wasted after all.
I don't know.
Kamina.
They still look and feel clean. I think I'm good.
Well, I guess it's time for the real test. Let's see.
All right, Kavina
Challenge
first.
me.
All right, let's see.
Here, why don't you pass me the flashlight? And I'll do it myself. Can you see that? Why don't we go with the really close-up camera?
Yeah, let's go with a very close-up camera.
So you can see how well I've washed my hands. Oh,
Let's see
lighting's
the
not
back
too
of your
good.
hands. Let's see your nails.
The lighting isn't too good. Let's go back
Oh.
to the regular. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Okay. Oh.
yeah. Oh, I can see.
wow.
Let's see your fingernails.
Oh, that's
I
really
see.
bad. Here, let me show the regular camera. I think the lighting's a little better.
Oh,
that's what you mean.
Oh, let's see your.
Oh, there it is. I
Let's,
see all of that.
let's see the palms of your hands.
There's definitely a little.
Oh,
bit
I see
on
that there.
Let me try this one.
Ooh, that is not looking good.
Oh,
That's a lot of glow germ.
I see what you mean. Oh,
Oh.
the fingernails.
You- oh.
What? I didn't think the fingernails would be so bad. Yikes. Okay. Can I get a round two?
Let's test me first. I think that I don't know. You might need some tips. I'm gonna catch it in my towel so that I can clean it off because I don't want to get any of your germs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Kavina had
Okay.
glow germ all over.
All right.
I gotta do better.
Here we go. Oh my goodness! I got it caught in my towel.
Yank it. Just yank it.
All right. I'm ready. I'm so confident. I know I washed my hands well. Ooh.
Oh.
Tiny little bit
I see
right
a
there.
fingerprint.
Or just a little bit, though.
Nothing
Oh.
on my hand though.
Those are looking pretty good.
That's
Nothing.
way better.
Nothing really.
It's not like super bright like.
Oh,
when
there's
I
a little bit
shred it.
right there.
Oh, just a little bit. What about in between your fingers?
I forgot about
Nothing
that.
in between my fingers.
Ooh,
But
and-
oh my goodness, look at this though. Look at my table. Do you
Oh
see
my
this?
goodness.
Whoa.
It's like an entire hand. Oh, and right there too. Look at that.
oh, so that must have been from.
Oh, and right here on the bowl. Look at this bowl. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. So
what
that
else could it be on?
before you washed your hands, right?
Look at it's on my
Kenzie?
laptop. Yes. So I guess that's why it's just so important to wash my hands because yes, my hands are clean right now. And I can't spread anymore. But before they were so dirty, I was constantly spreading all of those germs everywhere. Now, if I continue to touch things, at least they're clean. I'm sure if I put my hand right here, this is a nice clean spot on my table. If I lift it up, there's no more germs there. And that's because I washed it really well. Now, Kavina, I'm not so confident that you could pass that test right now. So do you want a few tips on what I did to make sure my hands were super clean?
I think I need them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I need them.
Number one, soap and water. You
Soap,
need
water.
soap. Soap helps keep us clean, and it just helps with the different breaking the things down.
Oh yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Also, warm water really helps. Warm water helps
Warm?
for sure. The cold water is just not the best. Also, 30 seconds. You need to, 30 seconds of washing. And that seems like a long time, but that's because you need to get your palms. You need to get your fingernails. You need to get in between. You need to get your wrists all the way up. You got to wash everything super, super good because we don't want to provide a host for them. And we want to make sure that they stop, and we don't want to be spreading those germs with everything we touch. Because I know a lot of us touch our face sometimes, and we're eating food and stuff. We want to make sure those are nice and clean. So I hope those tips help you, Kavina, because
Okay.
I think you need to maybe try again.
Yeah, so I was just taking notes of everything you told me about washing hands.
Okay.
And I put it together in like a memorable way, so it's always in my head, so I can always wash my hands the right way. So I made a little wrap. What do you guys think about a wrap?
Ooh, I love wraps.
Yeah? Okay. I'll show you my wrap as I wash my hands one more time. Okay. Ooh, nice warm water, soap. Okay. You ready for the wrap?
Yeah.
Always.
Do you want me to lay down a beat?
Yeah, lay down a beat, Kat.
All right.
Palms together, count to 10. Oh, shoot. Okay. I got the palms together. What was the next line? Palms together,
Palms
count
together.
Count to 10. Kens, can you help me out? What could the next line be?
Well, you have your
Palms together, count to 10.
I think it's the back of your hands, right?
Oh.
The back of your hands.
Okay.
Okay,
Why,
let's go.
Kens, you think this is funny, but it's tough for me, okay?
Well, you were laughing at me before.
No one's taught me how to wash my hands properly. Palms together, count to 10.
Don't forget,
Forget back of the hands. Okay.
Okay,
I got
ready?
this.
We're ready to lay down the beat?
Yeah. Palms together, count to 10. Don't forget back of the hands. With the fingers, make a tent. Then criss, cross, criss, cross. Don't forget your wrist. Watch, wrist, watch. With your nail, scrub the palm. Share the song with everyone. Okay, I got it.
I'm very impressed that you were able to put that song together. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
made that up
honest.
on the spot.
I was thinking it was so funny. Like, she thought she was a hand washing pro, but I have to say I am very impressed. You really pulled that off, and I think a couple more seconds there, and I think you might pass the test with that glow germ.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget those fingernails and the cuticles. I remember you had a lot of glow germ left in there.
You said scrub the nails with your palm.
Share the song with,
With
everyone.
everyone.
Oh, I
Exactly,
see where
yeah.
you're going with that.
Man, that's
All
catchy.
right.
Okay, this is good. And then dry them with the paper towel, you think?
Sure, paper towel, a towel, anything that's going to get those last little bit of water off, because that water might have some of those foreign invaders in it. So we got to make sure we get rid of that water.
Yes, you want to make sure you dry your hands thoroughly.
Okay.
All right, it's time for Kavina's redemption.
All right,
Ready?
here we go. Here's the magic little tester. And I washed it before, so you don't need to worry about that.
Thank you. Drum roll, please. Hey, clean.
Yeah.
Wow, let's see those fingernails.
Oh. And even your calluses.
Okay.
Your calluses look good because I know calluses, they like to hang on to. Look
These
at that.
right here from the monkey bars.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, this is a lot better. I think I could have maybe watched them for a little longer, but
Let's see your
cool.
fingernails. Let's see your fingernails.
And now here's the
good.
thing. I also touched my face when I had the glow germ on, so let's see if I have any.
Oh.
Oh, yep, that's a fingerprint.
Oh no.
Okay, well, I'll wash my face after the show.
All right. Sounds
Cool.
great.
Thanks so much for your help.
Yes. Now I know how to wash my hands better too.
Ken, you're still laughing at me. You think this is a joke, but I needed help learning how to wash my hands. Okay, we talked about skin, but I actually know there's another physical barrier in our bodies to help fight off the foreign invaders, and that is mucus. Mucus.
Like, you mean that stuff that's like in my mouth that when I'm
Yeah.
like running and things like
Yeah,
that?
and there's actually mucus all throughout our body. There's mucus in our throats, in our stomachs, in our mouths, in our sinus cavities, in our nose, even in our lungs. So it almost acts like a fly trap. It's really sticky. So when bacteria or viruses stick to it, they can't move, so they can't travel through your body, and they also can't duplicate itself, and most of the times they die as well. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So we're gonna make our own mucus today. How does that sound?
Kind of gross, to be honest.
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
It's so fun. So all you need is a half cup of water, and you just gotta heat it up until it's about boiling. And then we just need 3 tablespoons of gelatin. Now gelatin, you can buy at any grocery store. I have 3 packs here. We're gonna say that's about 3 tablespoons. Dump our gelatin into the hot water, give it a stir. Now this gelatin, it acts kind of like in our bodies, it's called mucin. Now mucin is a protein in mucus, and when the protein mixes with water, it gets all jelly, and that's what gives the mucus its stickiness. So the gelatin in this case is acting as the mucin. So that stickiness in mucus is very important. Okay, we got our mucin in there. Now in mucus, there's also different sugars and proteins, antioxidants, antibodies, enzymes, and all of this stuff is very important to kill and to fight the foreign invaders. So today we're going to take corn syrup, which is going to act like all those proteins and sugars, and we're going to add about 1/4 cup into our mucus. I'm going to eyeball this because I've done this a couple times. Looks good to me. Now keep stirring. It's going to get quite thick, like a real mucus consistency. Now here's a fun fact. We have about 125 milliliters of mucus here, and that's about the same amount that your lungs produce in a day. This is how much mucus is in your lungs every day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, this is looking pretty thick. And over time, it's going to get thicker and thicker. And then it's going to turn out kind of like this stuff. This is so thick, I could turn it upside down, and it doesn't even come out.
Wowza.
Oh.
I'll show you. I can even pick it up. Oh, that's some good jelly mucus coming from
Mina,
the throat.
I have a question. Is mucus, you said it was in our nose, is that like the same as like a booger?
Yeah, kind of is.
Yeah, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have mucus in your nose, which is like your snot, and then you also have mucus in your lungs. Now, do you ever, like when you get sick, you like cough and then you cough up all that phlegm?
Yeah.
You ever done that? So phlegm is actually the mucus in your lungs, and your body's trying to cough it up, and that way you either spit it out or you swallow it, it goes to your stomach, and then it gets broken down, and then the foreign invaders can't move throughout your body. So when you cough it up, it's actually your body doing something very important. Now, the last thing we're going to add to our mucus is some green food coloring, because when you get sick, your mucus turns a different color. And that's simply because all of the important cells in your mucus, like your white blood cells and some other kinds of cells we're going to talk about later, because there's so many of them in that mucus to help fight those foreign invaders, it actually turns a different color.
Wow.
So here's some unhealthy mucus when you're sick, and then here's some good healthy mucus. It's gonna thicken up by the end of the show. Here, I'm gonna, ooh, okay.
Very cool.
It's a lot of mucus.
This is a lot of mucus, yeah.
I had no idea we had that much mucus in our bodies. That is insane to me.
Now, we do have a wonderful question here from the Hayes brothers. Is there a chance that our eyes can get infected by a virus because we can't wear masks on our eyes?
Yes, actually, there is a chance that our eyes can get infected because they can be an entry point for bacteria and viruses, and that's because your eyes are open and it exposes an opening. But there is different things in our eyes that help us, like we're constantly blinking, which allows us to keep things out. We also have eyelashes, which help to try to keep things out of our eyes as well. So that's like a protective measure that our eyes take.
And guess what? There's even mucus in your eyes.
What?
Yes, to help protect with those foreign invaders.
All right.
And we have another question here from Hannah. Why is my nose stuffy when I'm sick? And is it bad to blow it all out? Scientists?
Yeah, so when you're sick, your body's able to detect those foreign invaders coming in that make you sick. And then your brain and your body work together, and they produce more and more and more mucus to help capture and trap those foreign invaders. So when you're making more mucus, then you can't breathe as well because it's stuck up in your nose and in your sinuses.
Yeah, and when you're sick, usually a lot of people think it is only because there's too much mucus in your body, but it's actually kind of a result of a clogged nose, is a bunch of inflamed blood vessels in your sinuses, and then that triggers more mucus to be produced and things like that. So it's actually a result of our inflamed blood vessels in our sinuses as well.
I would like to return to our football play to look at our second line of defense. So say our running back here, our foreign invader, has gotten through this first line of defense. And our first line of defense was, remember, those physical barriers like our skin. Now, lucky for us, we have a second line of defense here. Maybe in football, these are your cornerbacks, but in our immune system, these are our non-specific cells. Now, Kavina, what are the non-specific cells?
Good question, Kat. Our non-specific cells are things like white blood cells and what did I forget the word? And lymphocytes. Lymphocytes and white blood cells, and you can find these cells in our lymph. And lymph is a fluid that flows throughout our body, and it helps filter and destroy foreign invaders as well. Now, the lymph, you can find them in lymph nodes, which are like marble-sized little chambers in your body. And you can actually feel around, and they're all over your body. You have some in your neck right here, a little marble. They're in your elbow. They're in your armpit. They're in, where else? I'm blanking. Kat, do you know any other places where you felt a lymph node before? A marble in your body?
One time when I was sick, I felt a lymph node in my groin, that got inflamed. But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're all over our body.
Yeah.
I have a couple that I can feel in my neck.
Yeah, in your neck. And have you found that when you get sick with a cold or a flu, that they get larger, don't they?
And sometimes they hurt a little bit.
They do hurt a little bit. So yeah, next time you have a cold or even like a stuffy nose, try to feel for these lymph nodes, and you'll notice that they're inflamed. So that's just the place where all those white blood cells and lymphocytes are kept, and they're doing their job. They're fighting the foreign invaders.
Awesome. Now, if we return to our football play one last time, so say our foreign invader, it's gotten through our first line of defense, and then maybe it gets through the second line of defense. Maybe it's a really great running back or virus. Lucky for us, we do have a third line of defense to fight against this foreign invader. And Kavina and Mackenzie, what is this third line?
So we have very specific cells. Remember in the second line we talked about non-specific cells that kind of can fight any foreign invader. These specific cells have these decorations on the outside of their cells, and they're proteins. And these proteins bind to very specific foreign invaders. So I'm going to show you what these proteins look like. 1 second.
Where'd she go?
Went to the basement, where I have my antibody.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That thing's huge.
Looks like a transformer.
Is it always that big?
No, it's not usually this big, Mackenzie. This is just a giant version so you can see it. But usually they're smaller than one cell because they're just a little protein. Okay, so you have these proteins on the outside of cells, and they can detect foreign invaders. And here is this specific site where a part of a foreign invader can bind to. And when it binds to this protein tells the cell, we have a foreign invader, we need help, so they bring in some helpers to kill the foreign invader. So this is an antibody. Now the things that attach to these antibodies are antigens. Little proteins can attach right here. Kens, you know more than me about antigens, so do you want to take it from here?
Yes, so antigens are produced by the foreign invader, and they're like the little accessories on the outside. So something like a protein, that's what they usually are, and they're in a very specific shape, and they don't want to be found by the antibody, but they're kind of fighting against each other. Now, looks like I'm getting past this antibody, so we need to find the antigen because they're very, very specific that's going to fit into this, because our body wants to produce these antibodies that are perfect fit for the antigen that we have coming off of that foreign invader, so like the accessory. So
Kens, I have a challenge for you. Okay, so I gave you the antibody. Now, because you're an expert at antigens, I've given you 3 pseudo-antigens, like fake ones for now, and you have to figure out which antigen will trigger an immune response in this cell. So which antigen will match the antibody?
All right, so I need to find exactly which one of these antigens fits this antibody kind of opening here. So this is like the receptor. So I'll try this. We have a little spatula here. Let's see. Does it fit? I wouldn't say that that's a perfect fit. It's kind of...
It's not the foreign invader.
All right, next one.
It's not. It could fit, but it's not a perfect fit.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Couldn't be the foreign invader.
And we need a perfect fit,
We need
right?
a perfect fit. Oh my goodness.
Oh!
Like this. It's a perfect fit.
We found the foreign invader.
It's awesome. It fits perfectly. So now this is going to kind of send signals and responses, and they're going to make sure that this virus gets attacked and gets killed out of our body, so it's not there anymore.
Wow. Thank you, Kavina and Mackenzie. And you brought up 2 really important words, antibodies and antigens. And vaccines are really important because they help train our immune system to have a response to diseases that we haven't come into contact with. And so vaccines, they give our body just a little bit of a disease's antigen. And when we get that little bit of antigen, our immune system starts to make antibodies for that antigen. So just in case we do come into contact with that disease, our body and our immune system are already prepared with antibodies to help fight it. And you get vaccines when you're a baby. I think when you're in grade 6, grade 8, you get them. And then when you're older, you get them too. Maybe you're going on a trip and you to certain places you need vaccinations. Or which one that you get every year?
The flu
Your
shot.
flu shot.
That's right. And vaccines are so important because when a lot of people get them, it helps create herd immunity. And herd immunity is really, really important. And we have a wonderful video that we'll show here that helps explain herd immunity.
What is herd immunity? Picture a community or herd of healthy people. An infectious disease would pass easily through the community from person to person. Vaccines train our immune system to protect us from diseases it hasn't come into contact with before. For example, the MMR vaccine provides immunity against measles, mumps, and rubella. During an outbreak of a disease, vaccinated people will remain healthy. As they won't become infected, they won't pass the disease on. When most of the community is vaccinated, it makes it difficult for the disease to spread within the community. This is called herd immunity. If more people within the community remain unvaccinated, herd immunity can break down, allowing the disease to spread more easily. Herd immunity is especially important for individuals in the community who can't be vaccinated. For example, if they're too old, too young, or have weak immune systems.
Yeah, so that just helped explain why herd immunity is very important, because it helps protect other people who are vulnerable that maybe can't get a vaccine. Like it said, maybe people are too old, maybe they're really, really young, and so they can't get those vaccines yet, or maybe they're immunocompromised somehow, and so it's not safe for them to receive a vaccine. Our bodies are made with lots of specific defenses built in. Like we said, our skin, we have mucus, we have those white blood cells and lymph nodes. And we also have those antibodies that we create. And there's also really important decisions and actions we can take in everyday life to help protect us, like wearing a mask or washing our hands. And these help protect not only us, but the people around us so that we can keep our communities healthy and safe. But Mackenzie, does our immune system always work, or does it ever make mistakes?
You know what, Kat? Sometimes our immune system does make mistakes, and one of the mistakes that it sometimes makes is something we refer to as allergies. Now, allergies are when our immune system mistakes a neutral stimuli for something that's like a foreign invader. So they think that something's bad when it's actually not bad at all. It's maybe something good. Something like food. And what this does is, because it thinks it's a foreign invader, it stimulates and triggers for an immune response. So that's something, those different symptoms can be like hives, or maybe a stuffy nose, sometimes a fever, or sometimes you can get it really severe and you'll go into anaphylactic shock, which is really not great. It can be life-threatening even. So we have to make sure that we have the appropriate things to make sure that we can respond when those things happen. So some common things that you might be allergic to are different foods. Maybe you know someone who's allergic to peanuts, or maybe you're allergic to peanuts yourself. Different like danders, like cat hair or pet hair, and maybe even things outside like different pollens, grass, weeds, trees. So there's different tests that we can do so we know what our body thinks is a bad thing when it's not actually. So lots of times it's just a neutral thing, and our body thinks it's a foreign invader, so they attack it when we don't need that. Now, the reaction that we get from these different stimuli, it really varies in the severity. So sometimes, if it's not that severe, we can just take some medicine, something called an antihistamine, and that will help the reaction. Or sometimes you can just wait it out and it'll get better over time. But sometimes, if it's really, really bad, you'll go into anaphylactic shock. And that is something that it's basically making all of your body using all of that energy to fight this thing, because they think it's so bad. So what they need then is, you need to take something called an epinephrine shot. And that is something it's basically a hormone of adrenaline, and it's giving your body a lot of energy at once so that it has enough energy to fight off this unknown substance that is actually the allergen that you've been exposed to. So people who have allergies often will carry something called an Epipen, or there's like Allergics. There's a bunch of different things out there, and what it is in here, this is just a training one, so it's not an actual Epipen, it's just here to show you what it looks like. And what it does is you take it and then you put it into the person who's having the allergic reaction, and then you hold it in there. It's putting adrenaline into their body and giving them enough energy so that they have that energy to fight off this thing. And it's really important that they have this so that they don't run out of energy. I like to think of it kind of like a car with fuel. So it's adding extra fuel so it makes sure your body doesn't run out of fuel, and then something bad could happen, like they are life-threatening. So you want to make sure that you have the resources that you need if you have allergies. So that's something that your doctor would tell you if you had as well.
And I always remember with EpiPens, you always put orange to the thigh and blue to the sky, because
that's right,
they are not the same. If you got it backwards, then you might accidentally stab yourself in the hand.
That's right. You actually can't push on the orange part until you put the blue to the sky and then orange to the thigh. And this is an Allergic. It's the exact same thing. It has the adrenaline in it, and it works the same way.
Trainer contains 2 inject, place 5.
And you just put it in.
3, 2, 1.
And there you go.
Complete.
So maybe
yeah.
some of our viewers use things like this if they have an allergic reaction.
Yeah, so lots of people will carry maybe a really common severe allergy is nuts. So if you have a severe nut allergy, I know Katie, who works here, she has a nut allergy, so she carries around an Epipen just in case something were to happen, because you want to make sure that you can act really fast.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kavina, let's take a look at that mucus, because
Yeah.
it looks like it's really
It's
thickening up
getting
now.
thicker. You want to see it?
Oh, goodness.
Achoo!
Ah!
Oh, that's gross. Oh, this
Look at that,
is this is pretty accurate.
That looks like real snot.
Ooh, achoo! Yeah, that's gross. Really gross. It's fun to play with, though.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, friends, it is time for our segment, Ask Our Scientists. All right, our first question here comes from Rhythm. Do I have mucus in my ears? Sometimes when I'm sick, my ears start hurting too. All right, scientists, this is a tough one.
Yes. So, Rhythm, this is kind of cool. Your ears and your nose and your mouth, they're actually all interconnected. And there's a tube that connects your ears to your nose and to the back of your nose and to your mouth. And that's called the eustachian tube. And when you're sick, all that mucus that comes into your mouth actually goes into that eustachian tube that gets close to your ear, and it can block the sound that wants to travel in the ear. And that's why you can't hear as well, and your ears might start to hurt. I'm just casually playing with mucus here. It's kind of gross.
All right, our next question. Does everyone have the same level of immunity?
Wow, that's a great question. And the answer is no. There are definitely differing levels of immunity, and that has to do with the fact that we have two different types of immunity. We have innate immunity, and that's different things that we're born with. So things like our skin, we're born with skin, and that is part of our immune system. Things like mucus, our different organs and cells, we are all born with those, and those are part of our innate immunity. But we also have something called acquired immunity, and this has to do with the different things because once your body has a virus or a bacteria that we come in contact with, we produce those antibodies, and then our antibodies are there and they kind of allow us to be familiar with it if we come in contact with it again. So it's kind of stored like in our immune system like data, so it knows it's really quick response if we get it again. So everyone's acquired immunity is a little bit different depending on what they've been exposed to before and what they have stored in that data bank.
All right, and our next question here, why do I get fevers when I get sick?
Yeah, of course. So this is a great question too. So one of the things, there's many different reasons why you can get a fever, but one of the reasons is that your body is trying to raise that internal body temperature. So that's why your temperature gets higher. So your body is doing it because it thinks it's helping you. So it's trying to make that environment for those viruses and bacteria not suitable. So certain bacteria and viruses can only live in certain temperature ranges. So it's trying to raise that temperature to try to kill those things in efforts to get rid of them. So you're trying to make it so it's not a very nice environment. If it's really, really hot, you don't want to be there, neither does the viruses and bacteria. So it tries to raise that temperature so that they get killed and leave.
Kind of like when you're cooking like taco meat or something, you got to cook it on a pan to kill all the bacteria before you eat it.
That's right.
So your body's like a frying pan. It's just killing everything. Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
So you can think of it like that.
Yep.
And our next question here, which I can relate to very strongly, are people who are lactose intolerant allergic to milk. So I am very lactose intolerant, but it is not the same as an allergy. So an intolerance just means that maybe it doesn't sit well with your body. So if I have a glass of regular milk on an empty stomach, it's going to cause digestive problems for me. So I'm going to get a really sore tummy and might be in the bathroom for a while. But lucky for lactose intolerant people, there's ways around it. Maybe you can eat some other food at the same time that you're eating something that has lactose in it. Like maybe if you have a whole stacked burger with one slice of cheese, it won't be as hard on your system.
Stacked burger sounds pretty
yeah,
good.
But there are some people who do have allergic reactions to milk. So there is a difference between being allergic to milk and dairy products and just an intolerance, because an intolerance will not have very like life-threatening effects compared to an actual allergy.
Kat,
Yeah.
you were just on vacation, and you were telling me earlier today that you had ice cream every single day you were on vacation. Were you feeling okay during this vacation?
Yes, I was feeling great, and that's because lucky for us lactose intolerant people. So because lactose intolerant just means that your digestive system is lacking the lactase enzyme. The lactase enzyme breaks down that milk sugar lactose. And lucky for us, they actually make lactase pills. So anytime I know I'm going to maybe have ice cream or like something that has a lot of dairy in it, I just take a lactase pill and I experience no tummy problems with that, and it's great.
Whoa, the
Yeah.
magic of science.
Yes, very
That's cool.
thankful for that, because if I could not have ice cream another day in my life, I'd be very sad.
Thank you, science.
Yes, thank you, science. All right. That is it for our show today. We want to thank all of you for tuning in with us today.
Bye.
Bye.